Qatar, the pearl of Middle East. I chose Ramadan as a month to experience the beauty of this beautiful country. So this is how I started my journey, with a cup of chai, the necessary of all evils. Here we are. Let's discover Qatar during Ramadan. It actually feels good when you hear the sound of prayers, which I was hearing after a long time, because returning to Middle East after 6 years, I had totally forgotten that you do hear the voice of prayers every 2-3 hours in a day. Behind me is the Islamic Cultural Center, but before I go there, I want to check the Souk Waqif. I've heard so much, and the locals have strongly recommended me to go and see it. So I don't know what to expect, but they say when you're here in Ramadan, Souk Waqif is the place you cannot miss. So this is more like a traditional, that's the reason it's called a souk. Souk means market, and I think this is like one of the oldest markets they have here. And now they have turned it into, a cultural sort of site where people could come and explore how Qatar used to be. So here's a traditional cafe or restaurant where you could sit back, relax, have some shisha drinks, have the local food, and then a local shop here with a lot of rugs. And well, this looks good. I could buy that. It's quite similar to the kind of culture we have here in Balochistan, Pakistan. If you look at this place behind me, it looks like a traditional, home. But now they've turned it into, souk. I mean, probably, the old souks used to be like this, and now they've converted it into a modern-looking souk, but it still has its traditional ancient look. This is kind of similar to the kind of souk we have in Dubai, the gold souk, quite similar. And I think that's how most of the traditional souks used to be in the Middle East ages ago, but things have changed now. So now you have a modern souk, but the traditional look has never gone. It's kind of a travel back in time experience, when you look at these old shops, you get a feel in the thatched roofs, and that's the kind of doors we used to have in our village. Growing up, you don't see them anymore. But wow, it's actually, you've gone back in time. So once you're done shopping, you can come to these traditional old restaurants. I mean, they look like old restaurants, but actually they're very new and have all the best kind of Middle Eastern food, yet feeling that you have traveled back in time. Well, here I am in front of a huge stump. I don't know what does it represent, because usually in countries it represents election, but I don't know. It doesn't say anything. I tried to look for some kind of read around it, but there's nothing that says what's the purpose. It's just a thumb. So this is where it ends pretty much, but on the other side is Mashrab, the train station, subway, and that's where the traditional souk ends. ये आप कितने बनाते थे?
दिन में 2000,
नहीं यार,
कभी कभी ज़्यादा हो जाता है।
2000
Every day.
every day,
Making the naan bread.
and they are all sold.
I am all rounder. Sales.
How long do you work every day?
Every day 12, 13 years. And I am 15 years.
You show you're human.
15 years my experience.
Can I ask your name again? आपका नाम क्या है?
Amjad Khan,
अमजद खान.
Nepal.
अमजद खान नेपाल से जो है अभी ये हमारे लिए बना रहे हैं. Wow, look at that. Ooh. Oh, look at that bread. Looks delicious. So I ignored all the fancy restaurants and I thought I'll have a taste of a regular, Qatari food, because I don't know if this is like genuine Qatari food, but it looks delicious. I ordered a plate of lamb meat. I don't know if it's lamb or if it's goat, but I think it's goat. And it looks delicious. So I'm gonna, hog on this yummy food in front of me. But I'll give you more details about how this place looks like, because this is like one of the most unique experiences I've had in a long time. One thing that I miss the most since I've been living in the US is hummus. Living in Dubai for 8 years, this is one thing that you miss the most. Finally, here I am. Day 2 was the museum day, where I chose to see the Islamic Cultural Museum and the National Museum of Qatar on the same day. So today is the museum day for me. I'm at the Qatar National Museum, and then from here I'll head to the Islamic Museum, because all these museums are close by, so it's better to do them all together. So let's see, what does it hold for us? So right now I'm inside the museum, and this is the old palace of Abdullah bin Qasim Al Thani, and wow, it looks grand, and it was close to the port, so all the dhows would dock there, and that was the reason this was built here. This was built in 1906. Massive, right, for those times. Well, this is what a palace room used to look like in those days. For today's standards, it's tiny, but looking at the weather conditions, this was the best thing to maintain, with thatched roofs. That reminds me of my village. We used to have similar thatched roofs. And look at the windows. I mean, in this hot weather, they probably to protect themselves from the excessive heat. Look at these lanterns. We used to have this in our village. And I remember actually using them ages ago. This is interesting. You see those painted glasses? I don't know, are they painted or they just colored? So it's to protect you from the sunlight and have colored light inside, which feels cooler. I remember my maternal and paternal grandfather, their homes had similar kind of doors and similar kind of glass. Now, do you see the windows of the color? That's so beautiful. So this is what I was talking about. Well, right here behind me is a necklace made of Qatari pearls and was owned by Elizabeth Taylor. Now, this is the most important part, the artillery for fighting during the Ottoman times. Look at those helmets, all these gadgets, fancy. I would want to wear this at one of the parties. Wow. This is the pendant that Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan used to wear. And that's the leg of his throne. This place is so massive. It has 4 floors, and if you look down, wow, it's huge. Day 3 was my shopping day, and I spent my entire day at Qatar Mall shopping. Well, that's all I did this day. Well, here I am at Qatar Mall. Heard so much about it. Beautiful buildings. Let's discover this place from inside. Weather is beautiful in Qatar. Best time of the year to be here. And well, I don't know what to expect inside this mall because malls are malls. They're just the same. But I like the architecture. It's different. Very Bellagio, Italian sort of. But it looks good. So let's hit the mall and see how it looks like. Well, this place looks beautiful. It's such a breath of fresh air, the colors and everything. But there are a few restaurants up there, and you can find some down below. But due to Ramadan, I don't think they're open. You could probably order and take away food. It would be nice to watch performances right at the center where you're sitting here. Give you a very medieval feel for some reason. Maybe I should start singing. Well, I could sing. I think I've said this before, I'm saying it again. There's something about Doha, something about Qatar. The vibes are like very calm. Like, you know, I've lived in Dubai, I've lived in the Middle East, and those places are good too. They have their own, you know, energy and vibe. But here it's so calm. If you're the kind of person who wants to just be in a place where every minute is soothing to your nerves, I'd say move to Qatar.
They say if you want to experience a country or a city the way locals do it, take the trains.
Oh, good. It's impressive. For a city which is not very massive, they have a great train system. Well, there are different entrances. You know, that is for family, this is for singles. So if you're single and mingling, you need to check out where you want to enter the train from. So the different sections. Never seen something like that, but it's good. It's convenient for the families. Let's see how the train is. It's good. It's clean. So much better than the New York trains. How do they manage to keep it so clean? Something for New York to learn from Qatar. Well, here I am at the QECC area, like surrounded by huge sky-touching skyscrapers. But just came down here for some work. Well, it's a beautiful day here, but still warm for me. Just wondering how hot it gets during summers, because it really does get really, really hot. But as of now, it's good weather. I see people wearing jackets and sweaters like even during the day, and I was like, wow. I mean, but for them it's winter. It's like, I mean, winter is leaving, but it's still kind of cold for them. So here I'm at the city center. Let's see what does it have to offer, because when you're any part of the Middle East, city center is like the center, the hub of the city, where everybody comes for maybe a bit of cheaper shopping and a lot of fun, positive vibes, good energy, and a place for people to mingle and get together. So let's go inside. Well, there has to be a city center if you're in Middle East. Like, it's kind of nostalgic for me to be here because it reminds me of city center in Dubai. Nice place.
Last day of my tour, and as they say, save the best for last. Well, at the end of the tour, I'm taking you to a very secretive place. I think that is the best spot not to miss in Qatar, which a lot of people who visit this city don't know about. So hold on till the end of this video.
This was one place that I was really looking forward to visit because, you know, having such a massive library in the heart of the city where you can find so many books. I mean, it's a reader's paradise, what I've heard. You know, the best thing about being in Qatar is it's a good populated city, but when you're traveling on the trains, like I just took this metro train to the library, but they're never so crowded. and except for of course, the prime hours when people are rushing to work. But otherwise, it's quite calm, peaceful, not too rushy, and that's the kind of vibe that I love about the city. It grows on you. You start falling in love with it. So let's check the library. Country that encourages its citizens and people who live here as residents to read and go to such humongous libraries. Oh my God, I think I'm falling for this country. There's such a wide variety of selection. So if you wanted to read in an Arabic style, in your Desi style, you have a place here. So you could sit here, this is called the Majlis, and read. Read for hours. Feel at home. I mean, I could sit here and read and eat and sleep. Get a pillow and sleep here. I'm loving it. I've never seen something like this, Thinking this is all the library is, you're wrong. There's an entire maze down there with books to choose from. This is an entire city of books. In the end, if you still want your computers, there's a section where you can sit down and use the internet and connect with the world. And then there's a small little museum sort of thing here where you could get all the information about the Qatar soccer finals that happened here in 2022. I just came out of the trams and downtown looks good. It looks quite sci-fi, so to speak. But yeah. Take a walk around and see what does it offer. A huge whale clinging between the two towers. Nice. I think because of Ramadan, things are a little slow here. People are mostly home, sleeping, napping. They usually come out when the fast is over.
Crescent Park North.
أكرام يقترب من الحديقة الهلالية.
Right behind me is the Lusail Stadium. It's massive, it looks like a spaceship. I'm at Lusail Central. This is the place where the famous towers are, and you get to see all the grand architecture. Crescent Tower, the tower that was the major attraction of the entire tour. Well, it gets pretty windy in winters here, it seems. Because, you know, and I'm talking a bit loud so I could be heard. I hope it's recording. It's quite pleasant here. It's beautiful. So in Turkey, when you go to these islands, the Queen Islands and all those places, the Corniche is quite similar because, you know, you have these restaurants right next to the Corniche as you take a walk.
Well, my tour is over. I'm heading back home tomorrow, but I decided to come back to this place just one last time before I leave. Well, these are tiny hills right next to the Islamic Art Museum. I could sit here and watch the city for hours. So if you come to Doha, don't miss this place. It's beautiful.